Oh, sleepy Joe Biden. He needs to stop hitting the snooze button. A new USA Today Suffolk University poll showing the former VP's lead over Elizabeth Warren has been cut in half. Biden is the #1 choice for 26% of likely Democratic primary and caucus voters, while 17% of respondents favor Warren. But that's a far cry from the last Suffolk poll in August, which had Joe up 32 to 14%. The polling news isn't just bad, it's also sometimes confusing. A CNN poll released Wednesday has Biden up 15 points nationally over Warren. But a Quinnipiac poll released today shows Warren sporting a 7-point lead. And to think people don't trust the polls. So can Joe turn things around, or maybe should Hillary start pressing that pantsuit? Joining me now, WPAi Intelligence CEO and Republican pollster Chris Wilson. Hi, Chris. Happy Halloween.
Hey, happy Halloween to you, too.
So let's talk about Joe Biden, because it's sort of paradoxical and fascinating. On one hand, he never looks like a very strong frontrunner. On the other hand, he's taking incoming every day from the Trump campaign and from the media, because they're all in the tank for Elizabeth Warren, but he keeps trucking along in the national average as the frontrunner. What do you make of all that?
Well, he is trucking along in the national average as the front runner, but the problem is there's not a national Democratic primary. And so when you start to break it down state by state, you see him moving into second or third in the first 3 states now, in Iowa, New Hampshire, and Nevada. And so really what the Biden campaign is looking for is this fourth contest firewall. And whenever you're looking at a fourth contest firewall in a series of sequential primaries, it really means you're pretty much at death's door in terms of your race. I mean, witness the Giuliani campaign in 2008 when they were talking about Florida over and over again, and we see how that worked out. I really think what Biden has done is, he's running out of money. He had less money in the bank than anybody else, which is why he had to go start a super PAC, which has now brought the incoming fire from both Sanders and Warren attacking him for it. And you really see this sort of circular firing squad between the 3 of them. It's going to be interesting to see if maybe it allows one of the other moderate candidates to rise to the top. When I say moderate, I understand I mean moderate in terms of the Democratic primary,
relatively
not in
speaking,
terms of American voters.
Yeah,
exactly.
Who could that dark horse realistically be, do you think?
Well, it's right now you got to say Pete Buttigieg is the most well positioned in that case. I think he's run a centrist campaign. I think it's arguable whether his record is centrist, but he's done a good job in terms of communicating that way. I also believe there are some of the dark horse candidates that you can start to see rise up as well that haven't really received much attention so far. And from that standpoint, I think it is what this says to me is it feels a lot like the Republican contest in 2016, where when we entered December, as you know, I worked for Ted Cruz in that race, and Ben Carson was leading in Iowa going into December. And you can see everything switched between the beginning of December and when votes were actually cast in Iowa.
There's so much time, and we're just going to be torturing ourselves for months talking about this. I just want to say you dig way down into this poll just to find the smoldering remains of Kamala Harris's presidential campaign. It is fascinating how badly that campaign imploded. To what do you attribute that?
You know, I think there's a lot of things that go into a campaign imploding. I think first and foremost, it starts with the candidate, quite frankly. But second, it starts with reckless spending. And I think that is one of the challenges that the Harris campaign has had, is that they've really spent money in a lot of areas rather than making contact with voters. And anytime you're spending money for anything other than touching a voter, you're wasting it.
Yeah, well, you know, she famously said, "I'm a top-tier candidate," to Tulsi Gabbard.
Well, now when she said it.
She's trailing Tulsi now in a lot of polls. Chris, thank you.
That's right. Thank you.